Before we jump into today's topic, a quick disclaimer. The stories and data we share come from the states that we practice in and the experiences that we personally had, which can differ greatly across our country and certainly the globe. This is not a professional advice show. So let's get comfy and talk about death.
Hello and welcome to Mort Mike.
A down-to-earth discussion on death and dying.
I'm Brandy.
And I am Red, and once again we are your gruesome gourmands this week.
Delicious.
We'd like to welcome you back to our less than tasty topic on food-related deaths. And we've scoured for some more honed-in and unique foodie factoids and non-fictions related to death and dying and those delicious delicacies that we all enjoy.
Yuck.
I think an interesting place to start, that's something that affects a lot of people, or at least a lot of people know about it, are fad diets, right? So anybody that's on a juice cleanse, or you got to eat specifically like hand-shucked peas from the mountains of Tibet, or whatever for a month.
I think my mom was on that diet in 2008, actually.
Right. The I can only eat just raw meat diet and nothing else, like the caveman diet or something.
Actually, my aunt just did that diet, the carnivore diet.
Oh, is that real? Oh, that is real.
That is actually real.
Speaking off the cuff, fuck.
They only eat, and it has to also be killing people. I didn't do any research on that, but I would bet to say they only eat meat, eggs, dairy, and butter.
Dude,
like
the farts.
Butter. Yeah.
The farts,
My
man.
stomach, the grease, I can't even imagine.
I'm sickened. I'm sickened just hearing that. Man.
Your pee would be butter.
That's how my fucking fiance eats, man, and it is
My
a nightmare.
God, sir, are you okay?
Bread, cheese, and meat.
No,
farts.
Sir. Get anything else in your diet. A green, an orange, anything.
Your intestines will thank you.
So much.
Lord.
The flora and fauna of your intestinal tract will thank you.
But so some fad diets are not all as they seem. Can be actually kind of dangerous depending how long you're doing it or what type of vitamins that you might be missing out on or ingesting too many of over long periods of time. So too much of a good thing, obviously, that there's usually a reason that a lot of these binges or purges or whatever the hell that they're trying to have you do last a short amount of time. It's days to like a week or something. It shouldn't be extending into like months of following some of these fad diets. And there was a poor little 48-year-old gentleman that he had an addiction, I would say, at this point for how long that he was doing this fad diet, and it was to carrot juice. Oh. Yeah, carrot juice of all things. So
I'm not against a carrot or a beet juice. I can get with it.
But can be very tasty, right? Yeah, absolutely.
With a little bit of what do they put in it? Like turmeric, like the turmeric carrot shots. Those are good.
Yeah, very tasty. Very, very tasty. But yeah, this poor gentleman, his name is Basil Brown, which is the most British name.
What a name
I've ever heard. And he passed away. And there's a very obvious reason. It was obvious to probably anybody that laid eyes on poor Basil, because he was like a bright yellow orange color.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because he was drinking so much carrot juice, he was laden with vitamin A. Did he
eat anything else?
He did have other things in his diet, I believe, but it just the carrot juice took high precedent.
Like he's slamming like 12 carrot juices a day.
Right. Yeah. Like this guy was overindulging in carrot juice, and with vitamins. At a certain point, like when you take like your daily vitamin and it's like 10,000 whatever units of vitamin A, B, whatever. Mm-hmm. At a certain point, our body's like, okay, we're capped out on the amount of vitamin that we can take.
Yeah, they'll just filter the rest out if they can.
Exactly.
Like if your body can.
Exactly. Just filtered right out. But if you're taking like the extreme amount that Basil was taking, so the coroner's court evidence submitted that he had taken 70 million units of vitamin A in a 10-day period.
Buddy, like how many units of vitamin A is in 1 carrot?
That's a good question. Yeah, it was a gallon of carrot juice a day, and anybody that's ever juiced a fruit or vegetable knows like you have to juice a shit ton to get like an amount of liquid that large.
Okay. So he was. What I'm getting is a fuck ton of carrot juice. Got it.
Correct. Yeah. Buddy was having quite a go at the carrots at this point, and apparently it was mentioned that the effects on the body, just because it was not being able to be filtered out at the extent that he was ingesting it, basically like his body was presenting as if it had like alcohol poisoning essentially. So he had like cirrhosis of his liver. Like his body was bogged down.
Oh my God.
Yeah, poor fella.
Wow. Carrots kill you. And carrots are like, that's the one thing that everybody's like, if you eat a vegetable, eat some damn carrots. Like, they're supposed to just be so good for you. And this man OD'd on fucking carrot juice.
OD'd on carrots. Damn. I wonder if his sight was better. Right? Isn't that what they always say? Like
he had 30-30 vision.
Bro could see your past, present, and future when he looks at you.
He didn't die. He metaphysically cannot exist anymore.
God saw his power level and struck him down.
He's vibrating at a completely different frequency that we just can't see.
He's ascended.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, all right. That's one thing. My sister did turn orange when she was a baby because she loved carrots so much. Yeah.
For real?
But she didn't die, and she got off of it eventually, I guess. But yeah,
I would hope your little sister wasn't drinking a gallon of carrot juice a day. Fuck.
No, just like one of those little baby cans, or like maybe that's all she was like having was the only solid food, and so like it turned her little baby body orange. But it wasn't anything that they were like, oh, she's dead after this. The carrot's gonna get her.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy that happened to your sister though. Holy shit, man.
I wish there were pictures.
I'm more wary about these certain fad diets now when they try to tell you, drink too much of one thing. So it's good to keep things on a rotation. There are many other fad diets.
The spice of life.
Correct, right? Yeah, it's mostly because it helps you get all the vitamins that you need and not too much of one or not enough of another.
There is too much of a good thing.
Like just be wary. Like you're not necessarily going to keel over if you get on Adkins, if you're doing the Adkins diet or whatever the fuck.
Forever.
We're going keto or whatever. Like they're not inherently dangerous, but you need to. If you're really concerned about like diets and weight, go to a fucking nutritionist.
Yeah, exactly. There is not a single fad diet that exists, and this is me talking straight from the heart. Okay, you're about to get me up on my soapbox. There is no good fad diet. It doesn't exist. Don't do it. Just take a nutrition class, read on the internet, do something, learn how to put nutrients in your body that actually do the things that you want. It all already exists out there. You just have to figure it out for yourself. You have to do some trial and error. There's no one size fits all for anything. Everybody, I've seen the insides of thousands of people. They're all different. Figure out what works for you and don't do a fad diet, because if it doesn't lead to, you'll inevitably gain the weight back anyway, most likely.
Because you're not teaching yourself proper things. Correct.
Or you'll, even worse, develop an eating disorder. Why do that to yourself? Just love your body and put things in it that make you feel good and do what you need them to do.
You don't need to do a fad diet in order to detox your body or fucking whatever. Like, it doesn't... Cavemen ancestors didn't fucking have to do this, and we don't have to do it either, man. Exactly. We're not that more evolved.
God, just fucking eat right. Damn. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm off my soapbox now.
But yeah, I didn't want to dwell on that too much, just because for all those rubbernecker freaks out there like us, there's not as many deaths, so it doesn't fit as well.
Moving on.
But do you know what kills a lot of people worldwide? Is it the parasites?
Oh my God, do you remember that
Parasites in me.
show?
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about? That it was like a late night show.
Monsters Inside Me.
Yes.
Yes.
And they would give you like the zoomed in picture, and like it would show the parasites and how they like move and
Botflies in my fucking scalp keep me awake at night. Shit.
my God.
So
For me, it's the
grody.
tapeworms. I have this fear of it like coming out of me, and it just like coming and coming.
Like a fucking magician magic trick.
Oh my God, it makes me so
He just can't stop pulling.
chills all over my body. Chills. Like
Oh my
that's
God,
a horror
I know.
movie right there. Like, yeah, parasites are like real monsters that live inside of us. They were right. They got it on the head.
Yep. Perfect. I had such a fear when I was a kid after watching that show. Like, realistically, in the United States, it's not as much of an issue as if you were to be in a third world country or abroad or whatever. But after watching that show, I was like certain that I was going to die of like worms. Like, I was
Worms,
so
they're
certain.
everywhere.
I know that, especially, I mean, you had mentioned tapeworms, like they're I don't think there's a person alive that doesn't know about the like, oh, the tapeworm diet where you just take the tapeworm eggs and okay, so
Yuck.
more of a myth than than I originally thought. I straight up, until we researched for this episode, thought that was like a thing, like a real thing. But no, it's actually kind of fake. Like those posters that when you look up like tapeworm diet, there'll be these like oldie timey Victorian era posters for it. They're not actually from that time period. They're actually fake. They recently faked, unfortunately. So
Yeah,
damn.
that makes a lot of sense.
Well, especially so, and when you look at the timeline for tapeworm infection and then the development of the symptom of weight loss, it actually can take a really long time for that to happen, because the tapeworm has to grow to a size that it is larger than your intake of. It is taking in more calories than you know what I mean? So it's big. It's gonna be like what was it that it said online? Something like 5 to 10 years.
Because I mean, they can eventually like get as long as your entire intestines and like
Correct.
worm all the way through that. Oh my God.
Yeah, I wonder if you can feel it. I don't want to know if you can feel it. Ugh.
Oh my God. I bet you can only feel it when it's like literally coming out of your ass.
Oh my God, dude. You're not going to like this. Tapeworms can live for a significant amount of time, potentially up to 30 years. Some species can grow up to 30 feet long. They stay in your intestine and they shed the segments that have the eggs. So you poop out the eggs and then something eats the eggs, like a flea, and then like goes onto a cow or you get eaten by a dog or some shit. Like, yeah, whatever. And it just that's how their reproduction happens.
This fear is now becoming more for me.
Exponential. So yeah, technically yes. If there could be the possibility for a tapeworm diet that would cause you to lose weight, but
it's a slow burn.
Years. Yeah, and a lot of people that are looking for fad diets, it's usually with quickness that they would want it. So I would say not worth it. Not worth it at all. Yeah, parasites.
I would say that as well.
Do yourselves a favor. Do not look up pictures of intestines full of worms.
No, I'm good.
They exist and they can hurt you mentally.
They're hurting me mentally and I haven't even looked it up.
Do you think, is there ever a scenario that you would infect yourself purposefully with a tapeworm or something in order to lose weight? Is there just anywhere? Because I feel like there's probably somebody out there that's listening to this and is like nodding their head like, yeah, that sounds like an option.
To lose weight, absolutely not. Again, I think I made it pretty clear. Fad diets are ass, and a parasite, absolutely not. I will eat a cricket. I ain't eating no fucking tapeworm.
Fair and true. I feel like I'm right there with you, man. Absolutely. That what does kind of lead us into, so exactly how would one get a protozoa, roundworm, parasite, and more in their food? How do we know if our food's gonna have it, or what are the dangers necessarily of that, the chances that those are going to be things that we have to worry about in the United States? So let's talk about foodborne illnesses, etc., etc., and chemical contaminations of our food.
Okay.
If you had to hedge a guess, just off the top of your head of what you know, the limited things that you know right now, what do people die of more year over year? What is it that they're eating that kills them more? Is it dairy and eggs, one category, produce, so veggies and fruits, another category, or meats, so from the sea, from the sky, from the land, any of those? So those are the three categories. Which one is killing more people?
It's got to be produce.
Okay, yeah, well, you're right. I was hoping to trick.
Okay, listen, I didn't read nothing. That came from me knowing things.
Well, you're right. Okay. That is actually
I would say it's probably eggs, right? Because eggs put me on my deathbed earlier today.
Yeah, let's explain that to the listeners here. So what exactly, how's your day been, Brandy?
The eggs have it out for me. No, okay, listen, I'm a fucking yuppie, and I know eggs are expensive right now, but I like a good cage-free organic egg. They go bad a little quicker than the other ones do, and maybe I didn't pay close enough attention to the expiration date today. I ate some eggs. They put me on my deathbed, but we're here.
Not thriving, but we're here.
I threw up in the shower twice, and you know what? That's the best place to throw up. So
that actually is, yeah.
I feel clean at least. Cleaned out, I guess.
Cleaned out.
Maybe that's why.
Now there is a fad diet for you. Give yourself food poison on purpose so you can just evacuate all of your insides.
Yeah. Yep. Evacuated they did. And I will not be eating eggs for a while. So this is particularly making me a little queasy. So I'm can't wait to hear the rest of it.
It's gonna be great. You are an absolute champ today. I want you to know.
But how ironic. I can't believe it. I feel literally like Alanis Morissette. Like, isn't it fucking ironic?
Isn't it ironic? But no, you are correct. Unfortunately, in your case, you're of the 20% that get ill from dairy and eggs, where meat and poultry are another 22%. Shellfish and fish, which I feel like people are like more spooked about having, like worms and gross shit. That's like 6%.
Yeah, and I have no fear of fish. I trust that way more than, like, people have that fear because raw fish is eaten in different countries. That's why they have that fear, because it's not what we do here typically. Sushi obviously changed that.
Or they see those like documentaries where they're like, oh, go to the fish market and it's just covered in flies and it's stinky and like they see that and they just think, ew, like that's bad.
Sushi grade fish is literally just like, I think it just, don't quote me on this, I did not research it, but I think it's just like, it's been held at a certain temperature, like hasn't been frozen before. It's not like this insanely like, oh, it was caught this special way and then they filleted it this special way that makes it last so you could eat it raw. No, it's just fresh fish. Like, you can eat it raw. It's fine.
No, you were right on it with the produce. That actually causes, so fruits and vegetables, they cause nearly half of foodborne illnesses.
That's why you gotta wash your fucking veggies.
Exactly. And I think it's just because like people have been made so aware of like, oh, you got to cook your meats, you got to do this, and like got to cook it to this temperature. Especially people that have worked like food service and stuff. Like that's a huge thing for like restaurant safety and stuff, is learning how to prepare meats so people don't get sick. So I think a lot of people associate like their illnesses to that, when no, it's literally the leafy greens, and it's mostly probably also linked to the fact that we're so used to eating vegetables raw, right? Like either salads or like dipping carrots and peppers and stuff. Like we're used to eating them raw, and therefore
we're one of the only cultures that does. Most other places blanch all of their fruits and veggies before they eat them,
which is honestly a very smart way to do it. Especially after researching for this episode, I'm very aware of the dangers of fruits and vegetables, because like, interestingly enough, that question that I used, the dairy and eggs, produce or meat, it was a question I used during like the death trivia night that I had at my birthday last year.
Hell yeah.
And I'm very cool and not weird at all that I would have asked that.
Yeah, that's cool as shit.
I still didn't change my ways though after that, and like we started researching for this episode and I was like, oh fuck, that's right, I have to wash my vegetables better.
Oh no.
Thank God.
You're one of
I've
the
not
culprits.
died. I am.
You're
It's
gonna get
literally
E.
me.
coli from a head of lettuce.
Do not eat anything that I have prepared unless it has been fully cooked. So.
Note taken.
But yeah, these the tiny little guys inside of these foods that are problematic. Of course, we've already talked about the different protozoa, roundworms, different little parasite fellas, but a lot of it's going to be bacteria, right? So salmonella, listeria, E. coli, hep A, botulism. Everybody knows about botulism. The toxoplasmosis, like those are going to be your main culprits that are getting people sick. So, I had written this a little bit ago where I was going to say, ask your co-host, have you guys ever had food poisoning?
Yeah.
The timing could not be
You know
more
what?
accurate.
And you know what? Here, I'll run you down my food poisoning list of all my worst food poisonings.
Okay. And is there anything obvious like 7-Eleven sushi or like...
I wish, like, truly, but I've never had 7-Eleven sushi, but I've had grocery store sushi, and I've never been disappointed by it.
Dude, Myers sushi fucks.
Yeah, it does. Oh, so good. I don't believe they get a bad rap for no damn reason.
Oh, for sure.
No, for me, okay, at a cookout when we were kids, I had some coleslaw that had definitely been left out too long. Me and my dad both had food poisoning. He was in the bathroom throwing up, and mine was on set like 10 minutes after him, and so I was throwing up in my closet because I couldn't make it to the bathroom. Oh my God. Don't know why I chose the closet. Again, I was a child. Then the next one was food poisoning from spaghetti that my grandma had prepared.
That's like a cooked dish?
I know. I don't know how it happened. Well, she wasn't a dirty lady, but she had a cat that she kind of like let roam around everything, and I don't think that she kept the litter box very clean. So maybe that was, that makes me just sick thinking about it. But I was throwing up so violently. Again, couldn't make it to the bathroom. I was throwing up on her floor, and it was coming out of my nose, the noodles out of my nostrils.
Oh my God.
Horrible. I didn't eat spaghetti for like 10 years.
I can understand why. Fuck.
Yeah, for real. And then I'm sure, plenty of alcohol poisonings here and there. And then today's food poisoning.
I've also had a sordid past with foods. It's usually not stuff that I have made. It's usually things that I have purchased to eat. Can't always pin it down necessarily. Definitely alcohol poisoning. Definitely alcohol poisoning that I might have like called into work and I was like, yeah, I have food poisoning today. Yep. Violently hungover.
So hungover, like should be hospitalized.
Correct.
Yep.
But I did have one. It kind of coincides. Somebody got norovirus and I was at their house and they didn't clean up very well. And I ended up getting norovirus from them, which is very similar in its symptoms, essentially. I was supposed to get proposed to that weekend, but I ended up being in the toilet the entire time. So that was cool.
Why do I feel like that's on brand, unfortunately?
Right. Wouldn't it be my fucking life? Like,
for
seriously.
real. Oh, you poor thing. Yeah, norovirus is no joke. I had it this season, and there was something particularly foul about this year's norovirus bug. It was truly evil.
Nasty. But the reason that we bring this up, because yes, being sick sucks, but that's not dying. Get to the deaths, everyone's screaming. No, people actually do die from this.
Oh yeah.
So,
and I was almost one of them. I saw my body. I saw my soul leaving my body for a moment before I sucked it back in and got the will to come on this podcast.
Like, this is just the case of like Brandy's at home dealing with this, which many people can do. It's easy to diagnose, and I shouldn't say easy to take care of or get through. It sucks, but you don't normally have to go to the hospital. However, yearly there's like 1 in 6 Americans that get sick from foodborne illnesses, and 130,000 hospitalizations. That's just hospitalizations.
Dang.
Like, that shit's so bad you have to go to the fucking hospital, and another 3,000 people of those will die from it. So like, yeah, it is dangerous. It is dangerous sometimes to be eating things that are undercooked or not washed properly. And I found it very interesting over time, different outbreaks of not only just foodborne illnesses, but like chemicals inside of these foods that we're eating on like major scales. Essentially, corporations that have fucked up and like harmed people because of oversights in their processes. So I'd love to touch base on a few of these major ones throughout time, when these fucking corporate pigs have hurt us over probably profits or just somebody being an idiot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so if we're going to get into chemicals, we can talk about a cousin of ethanol, the alcohol poisoning we were just so fondly discussing. So methanol toxicity, so close relative to ethanol. But methanol is just something that we cannot break down, but it's cheaper to produce. So you might think of methanol and death, and you probably think of antifreeze. I think we've all seen that in media or otherwise where people ingest antifreeze to end their lives. You can also get it from ingesting methanol-laced alcohol. So like I said, methanol is cheaper than ethanol. So you can kind of like cut it, like what people do with fentanyl. It's the same kind of concept. You cut the alcohol with the methanol, and then you create this just toxic gas, essentially, that humans cannot break down. They are typically bootleg, or it can be other chemicals that are being intentionally ingested for the methanol, because we do still get drunk off of methanol.
Sure.
It's very similar, so it makes sense that like it would still have those same feelings, you know. But it's kind of easier to get to if you're underage, or maybe you don't have the money for alcohol, like you want straight liquor, and maybe the guy at your local liquor store is not selling to you anymore. These are all problems that I assume people are facing when they're trying to feed an addiction.
Sure.
And methanol seems to be a cheap, easy alternative, unfortunately. So I just wanted to touch on like a couple of stories that I found.
Yeah, this is crazy, to be honest.
Well, so I was, just like on the Wikipedia looking at everything that I could find about like specifically this. And then when you go into like their sources on Wikipedia, you can find a government list of all of the different cases of methanol toxicity that were like intentional or non-intentional. And it is like every single country is affected by this. It's happening in poorer communities. So one story that I found was 1968, 31 people within the homeless population of Philadelphia died because they were drinking Sterno from a vendor who was knowingly selling it to them and knew that they were getting drunk off of it.
Jesus Christ.
And was continuing to supply them with these Sterno canisters, which, I mean, so like Sterno is the stuff you light it and you put it under. Yeah. So like,
like the chafing dishes, like underneath.
Exactly.
Like to keep food hot at a buffet or whatever the fuck. That's
wild. Yeah. So like all of these things, you're going to notice that they have a theme, and the theme is that they burn. And so imagine what they're doing to your body. So knowingly selling it to them. Then in Uganda, 80 people died after drinking methanol-laced gin. This gin is like locally made from bananas, but because of how many like times it was basically just getting like cut and cut and cut with the methanol, it was killing people over a few week period in Uganda, and the police couldn't pin down what the source was because nobody would admit that they had it because it was illegal to have. So again, that comes a poorer community that is being forced to, they want to get drunk and they're being forced to purchase this cheaper cut version of alcohol, and then they're hiding it from the police because they're probably scared that, one, the police is going to take it away from them, and two, what if they end up in jail or something crazy like that? I can't imagine. The jails in Uganda are amazing places to be. So I think that like all of this kind of like plays into that same kind of feeling. Another one, again, like literally the theme is this shit burns. So two teenagers from Tennessee died after making dew shine.
I've heard of douchine. Oh no.
So douchine like makes sense. Like it's supposed to be Mountain Dew and moonshine.
Right.
Totally Southern. Totally makes sense. Especially Tennessee. Like,
Tastes really
come
good.
on. They gotta be going for it. It's gotta be good too.
Mm.
So, but they were not mixing it with actual moonshine because I'm assuming these teenagers couldn't get moonshine.
Right.
They were able to get access to this like high grade racing fuel though.
Jesus fuck.
And so that's what they were mixing. And so 2 passed away and 2 more were hospitalized.
Oh my fucking God.
So then it comes to like, okay, well, you don't always die from methanol toxicity. So what happens if you live? It's not fun. I will tell you, it is not fun.
Irreparable damage?
Yeah.
I hear irreparable damage?
Yeah, something like that. If you live, you're probably blind because methanol immediately just completely destroys the optic nerve.
Whoa. Like it just hones straight in on your eyeballs. That's crazy.
And then, of course, your liver is affected too, and other organs can be affected depending on the amount of ingestion. They say like 30 milliliters is kind of when it starts tipping into the like, this is probably going to be fatal. And then 100 is like the average for a grown adult, essentially. That is absolutely fatal if you hit that mark. So if you're 10 milliliters or above, you're probably going to go blind.
Oh, it's just so sad too, because it's just like I've watched collaboration videos on like cheap drugs that like poor countries and communities took to and is a huge like crocodile and shit like that. Like it just sucks when there's stuff like this that like almost specifically targets the youth because that's what's easy for them to get, or like impoverished areas.
Yeah.
Like just to make everything just even fucking shittier for these poor people. Like,
Literally.
it sucks.
And it's just like, why would you knowingly do that? Like, luckily now, obviously that story was from 1968, the Philadelphia one, where their homeless population was being attacked, essentially. That's what I'll call it. But like nowadays, we have resources available for people that need Narcan. So like if you're overdosing and you need Narcan in certain areas, you might be able to get access to that. Most of the rest stops within our state have Narcan dispensers and biohazard boxes. And so the resources are available for things like that. But like, what do you do when something like this comes up?
Right. This is so specific and not
So
as regulated
specific.
necessarily, and like,
And
I
it's
don't know.
happening like these. I found there had to be at least 100 stories on that Wikipedia page.
I think it's just small enough that it's not as like in the public eye, if that makes sense. Like,
Especially nowadays, 31 people dying, that's nothing, which is such a crazy
Correct.
thing to say.
well, right, and that's the thing is like until it's somebody or it's widespread, then no one gives a shit, and like,
Or it's out of the homeless population.
well, and right, exactly. The what is it? The less dead, we don't care until it's little Timmy down the street.
Yep.
But
I
a very specific rich white little Timmy.
Yes, exactly. But there are people that are actually being affected by things like this. So like to think that people become so desperate that they're drinking Sterno, or they think they're getting moonshine and it's not moonshine. Like these are like, I mean, for all intents and purposes, alcohol is safe to consume in moderation.
Quotation marks.
Yeah, exactly. So like, this is, for a lot of these people, it's like, well, they didn't expect that. Like one guy, he ordered ethanol. It was like 95% ethanol, 5% water off of some site that was used to like, I think he was growing weed or something. So he had to like rehydrate the soil or whatever. And you use like the ethanol to do it. I don't know. Sounds big science to me, but he drank it for some reason, thinking that it was ethanol and it was just going to get him drunk. And it ended up being laced with methanol because the methanol was cheaper to do. And they probably didn't think people would be ingesting it.
Yeah.
And so he died. And they had to pull that product off the market.
And this is much more like widespread in different ways where like a lot of corporations cutting corners to the point that it affects people and they don't care. And they if it didn't get too big, they would have probably kept doing it type of thing.
Yes.
Like,
100%.
there was a case back in the 70s of like the Iraq poison grain disaster, which I think is a wild title.
Yes.
But like mercury poisoning, like everybody like freaks the fuck out, like, oh my god, mercury in fish, like that's gonna kill you. And like, yeah, okay, if you look at like us dumping heavy metals into our ocean, and then like small fish eat it, and then bigger fish eat that, and then predator fish eat them, and then those are the ones that we kill and eat, like the concentration of mercury is going to be higher. But unless you're eating tuna every meal for every day in the week,
unless you're on that tuna fad diet.
Correct. You're gonna be fine, because there's granted like there's no quote unquote deaths from mercury linked to fish in the United States. Does that mean that we're still not getting mercury in our bodies from it? No. It's hard to track to see if it has killed people, but there are other ways.
You're more likely to get lead poisoning from a plate you bought at the Goodwill than you are to get mercury poisoning.
Yeah, right, exactly. But in the Iraq poison grain disaster, boy, was that some mercury poisoning.
Oh, fuck.
So,
what happens when you get mercury poisoning? I guess I don't know.
That is a good question. I will help you understand in this quick montage.
I'm so excited. Take me on a journey.
It starts with ataxia, then goes to peri-anesthesia.
Oh, wow.
But okay, so looping back around. So it was methyl mercury specifically, and there was like grains that were being treated with this fungicide. It was like a methyl mercury fungicide, because grain is very prone to like having fungus grow on it, especially like in long-term storage and shipping. It needs to be treated so it doesn't like go bad. The product doesn't go bad before it gets to where it's going. We know this a lot in preservatives and shit that's added to all sorts of stuff that's exported and imported all around the world. But due to issues with like foreign language labeling and distributing things too late from the growth cycle, this grain was extremely toxic. So yeah, all of these toxic grains were consumed by Iraqi residents in like rural areas in the country, and they all got this horrific mercury poisoning where about like 460 people died. So they were like experiencing before death, they were getting like lack of coordination in their muscle movements, that's like the ataxia, and like their skin was starting to numb, and vision loss, just all sorts of bad things before they just ultimately died. And guess who sent the grain to them? Doodly-doo-doo.
Oh no.
Yeah, US and Mexico, yay. Oh. Fuck, man. Yeah, a lot of people died.
Just invading Iraq in so many different ways.
Yep, yeah. From the country that brings you smallpox blankets, we also bring you mercury grain. It just consistently large corporations just doing bad by people. I remember watching this. I think it was in some health class when I was a kid that was talking about like the dangers of undercooked meats. And it was like maybe it was like a 60 Minutes or something about E. coli and Jack in the Box. So the chain fast food restaurant Jack in the Box here in the US had a huge E. coli outbreak that killed 4 kids. Yeah.
No, the babies got sick at the Jack in the Box.
Yeah. Majority of the people, and there was a ton of other people got sick.
Right.
Like 700 people or some shit got sick.
Oh my god.
But yeah, and the majority of people that got sick were under 10. So.
Well, yeah, because who the fuck's eating at Jack in the Box besides kids that are like, Mom, let's go to Jack in the Box?
Well, especially if like what your body, something that we haven't really mentioned is just like a lot of people that did get sick, just in general from foodborne illnesses, like some people's bodies can just handle it, like depending on your immune system, right? Like you're less likely to get sick, but children don't have immune systems against this shit. And so they're extra susceptible to this, as well as elderly people. Like their just immune systems are breaking down, so it can't fight this stuff off, or it's more serious. But yeah, like of those 4 kids that died, there were like 100 plus others of that 700 that were left with like permanent injuries, like kidney and brain damage.
Oh my god!
From this E. coli outbreak. It was one of the most, like, I think one of the largest E. coli outbreaks that was this detrimental in the United States history. Pretty fucking bad, man. It was traced back to undercooked hamburger patties, if anybody could have guessed.
Yeah, I think there was only really one answer, and it was that.
Yeah.
I've never
exactly.
been to a Jack in the Box. Wasn't going to start now, so that's just more of a reason.
And it was cited to say, like, what exactly was it? Because it was multiple Jack in the Boxes that it came from, right? It wasn't just one Chad on the grill that didn't know what the fuck he was doing. But no, they had this like big promotion apparently that was like for the Monster Burger, and it's so good it's scary, the Monster Burger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they were selling it at a discount, and because the demand was so high, it just overwhelmed the restaurants and their ability to follow the safety protocols.
Yeah.
And so they weren't cooked long enough, and
Dang.
corporate greed. Let's just call it corporate greed.
Yeah, okay, we'll put that
Boom.
as another one in the box of corporate greed. Got it.
So if we're going for like pure numbers here, if that's how we're rating, not necessarily success but failure, based on the most infections ever in the United States of salmonella, I don't know if I have this memory from when I was a kid. Like, there's, the ice cream man that comes around your like neighborhood and shit. We used to have like a Schwann's delivery guy.
Yes.
This big refrigeration truck that would come to our house every now and again. Yeah, you could like sign up for them to bring you different Schwann's products, right? Yeah, apparently they have like the record in the United States for poisoning people with salmonella for ice cream.
Wow. Oh, I used to love the ice creams. They had these little cups that just unearthed a memory. They had the little ice cream cups with the like chocolate swirl in it.
Mm-hmm. Deadly. No. Dangerous. Yeah, I guess it was, what was it? They had hauled something in like those cold trucks that was non-pasteurized, or was like eggs, or was like something raw was like being carried in those tankers, and it wasn't properly cleaned. And so when something that was like the ice cream premix that was put in there, like it mixed with it or something, and it infected 220,000 people.
I thought you were gonna stop at 220. Oh my god, I could have been one of them. I probably
the most shits worldwide in 1994 happened that year. Just the group shit.
Oh, okay. That's a little before me. Okay, that's fine.
That's when I was born. The year of the shit.
Year of the shit. That's a good one. I love that.
You guys might be wondering, I mean, with all of these things, like, now never want to eat out again or whatever. These are they're not as prominent as you might think. And there's obviously, of course, things that you can do as a person at home when you were cleaning, cooking, and selecting all of your own vegetables and your meats and cheeses and everything. Like, you can stop all this by knowing how to be a good consumer and knowing how to prep all of your foods.
Take a damn nutrition class, you nerds. Get in there. It's just as important as anything else you learn. Your taxes, learn how to cut your vegetables, learn how to wash them, learn how to separate foods. Don't cut your meat and then cut your vegetables. And you know what? Don't cut your vegetables and then cut your meat on the same cutting board.
Same.
Wash it.
Always be washing between. Use separate cutting boards at home. Have a meat cutting board, and exactly. There's so many things that you can do, and it's all online and very easily available for you guys. We're not a nutrition podcast. Don't need to really go into it here. But yeah, it is more simple than you think. It's just, it's a matter of like taking those extra steps. And for those out there that are like, I'm never going to wash my lettuce, even if it says that it's washed on the bag. Well, hospital.
Yeah. Enjoy E. coli.
That is the risk that you're taking, and that is your God-given American right. But so is the listeria.
And you know what? If you die of E. coli, you can't be a tissue donor. So don't do that.
Boo. So, yep, it's I'm so proud of Brandy for having stuck through this very difficult episode, having to face eggs yet again today. I'm very very happy that you were able to join us for this, even though I swear I'll punch the next egg that looks at you funny.
I know, the gift that Red sent in our group chat earlier was perfect. I really needed that moral support because I was like clawing my way through today, and this truly, I love nothing more than to talk about death. So even if it is at the hands of the villain that attacked me today.
That's the guy who hurt me, officer.
Yep.
Please don't freak yourselves out about these things. It's rarer than you think, but more common than you think at the same time, as long as you know how to take good precautions. Don't be scared that the juice cleanse that you're on is going to kill you. Don't be scared that going out a few times to sushi or eating packed tuna every day as a protein supplement for your gym workout is going to kill you. Certain things are safer than you think, but other things should be taken more seriously. And if it's a bulging can from the 60s, botulism is inside of it. Just 100%. Keep your wits about you, all right?
100%. You know what we didn't go into is oysters. We can talk about botulism and oysters, but I digress. I think we're good on this one.
Yeah, I think we've gone through enough stomach churning topics for today.
I think so. And I kind of like oysters, so let's move on.
Let's keep that air about it, though. We don't have to worry about it too much. That's going to be all this week on Mort Mike, though. Connect with us on our socials at Facebook and YouTube at Mort Mike Podcast. And if you have any suggestions on topics you'd like to hear about or stories you have about something that put you in the hospital from eating.
Oh, please. I want to hear it. Make me feel better. I'm begging.
Yes. Please shoot us that email at mortmikepodcast@gmail.com.
A huge thanks to Marson Music for our theme, Deputies of Death, and Macklin Legan for our custom icons and banners.
And be sure to tune in the first Thursday of every month for some more casual discussions on death. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Mort Mike.
Bye.
Bye.